Hello students, let us learn once again about some topics in this chapter, respiration, the energy releasing system. So today our topic will be really very interesting because we are going to learn about the evolution of gaseous exchange system in different animals. So it can be a very small organism, or it can be an organism living in water, or it can be a large organism. So after today's class we are going to be able to answer some questions like, do all the animals breathe in the same manner? How do unicellular animals respire? In what way do aquatic animals respire? And what is the reason for animals to develop the different types of respiratory organs? So, exchange of gases or respiration is a common life process in all the living organisms, but it's not in the same way in all the animals. Now, if you see the habitat of a particular animal, it can be either terrestrial or it can be aquatic. Terrestrial means land living. Aquatic, it means living in water. So depending on their habitat, animals adapt to different types of respiration, and they possess different types of respiratory organs based on the place where they live. And also it depends on the size of the organism, whether it is unicellular or whether it is multicellular but very small, or whether it has a very large body, and how much water is available around them, and how far the gases, once they enter the organism, how far they must travel. For example, if the animal is really very big like an elephant, the blood has to circulate to a long distance. So depending on all these factors, the organisms have developed different respiratory organs. Now if we see single-celled organisms like amoeba, or it can be very small multicellular organisms like hydra or planaria or roundworms and earthworms, they obtain the oxygen and expel the carbon dioxide directly from the body by the process of diffusion. So if you look at the picture of amoeba, you have already learnt that through the cell membrane the oxygen from the surrounding water enters inside, and through the same cell membrane the carbon dioxide goes outside. In the same way, planaria is the second picture. The same process of diffusion occurs for respiration. And if you see the last picture, which is hydra, it is the organism which lives in water, river waters. It also respires by the process of diffusion. Now in other multicellular organisms, special organs are evolved. Now let us see the different types of respiratory systems in the higher organisms or multicellular organisms. The first one is the tracheal respiratory system, and the example for this is a cockroach or any insect like a grasshopper or an ant, etc. Observe the picture carefully, students. There is the tracheal respiratory system in insects like cockroach, grasshopper, etc. This tracheal respiratory system consists of a series of tubes that are running all through the body. These tubes are called trachea, and these tubes are divided into fine branches called tracheoles, which carry the air directly to the cells in the tissues. But how does that air enter the body? The trachea open to the outside through small holes on the skin. These are called spiracles. So through these holes called spiracles, the air enters into the body, and through the tubes called trachea and tracheoles, the air is supplied to all the tissues. Now the second type of respiration, we call it as the branchial respiration. So as you can see from the picture, it is observed in all the aquatic organisms or the animals which live in the water. So some aquatic animals like fishes, they have developed the special organs for respiration, and these organs are known as gills or branchiae. That's why the name branchial respiration. So the blood is supplied to the gills through blood capillaries which have very thin walls, and the gases are exchanged through these walls. So let us go and understand deeply about the branchial respiration. Look at the picture, students. It shows the picture of a fish. Now you may have observed the body of a fish, and while it moves or swims through the body, through the water, you may have observed that it repeatedly opens and closes its mouth, and from the mouth some bubbles come out of the water. Have you observed that? So actually the water enters through the mouth of the fish. The fish keeps its mouth opens and lowers the floor of the oral cavity. As a result, water from outside will be drawn into the oral cavity. Oral cavity is nothing but the mouth. And next, immediately the mouth is closed and the floor of the oral cavity is raised. So where does the water go? There's no, it can't go out, isn't it? So the water is pushed into the pharynx, and then it is pushed outside through the gill pouches. Now where are these gill pouches present? At the two sides of the body of the fish, you can see a C-shaped cutting or opening. Behind that flap, the gills are present. So the water is pushed into the pharynx and forced into the gill pouches through the internal branchial apertures. And in these gill pouches, there are a number of gill lamellae which are now bathed with water. That means the water flows all through these gill lamellae, and through the gill lamellae, directly through the cell membranes, the gaseous exchange takes place. So this is regarding the respiration in fish. Now what about respiration in an amphibian like a frog? So what is the meaning of an amphibian? Remember children, the frog's life cycle is completed, a part of it in water and a part of it on the land. So look at this picture of the frog. You can see that the air enters through the nostril into the mouth cavity, and the frog has lungs just like us. So the lungs are taking in the oxygen and they are helping in removal of the carbon dioxide. But if you look at the picture carefully, there is also an exchange of gases from the skin of the frog, isn't it? And also the mouth cavity, or which we call it as the buccopharyngeal cavity. It is the oral cavity or the mouth of a frog which is really very big. It is called the buccopharyngeal cavity. So through these three areas, the frog does its respiration. So if the frog, or when the frog is breathing through the lungs, we call it as the pulmonary respiration, and when the frog breathes through the skin, we call it as the cutaneous respiration. But why does the frog show these two methods of respiration? Remember children, you have learnt in the 7th class that frogs undergo a process called hibernation and estivation. So throughout the summer season, they go underground and they sleep under the ground, and they don't do any activities. They don't come out in search of food, nothing. But even then, how are they able to respire? It is through the skin. and when they are on the land, they respire normally through the lungs. So you remember that 30% of the respiration in frogs is cutaneous type. So frog is an amphibian and it can respire through the cutaneous and pulmonary respiration through the lungs, and it also through the buccopharyngeal cavity. Now here is a picture of an earthworm. It's not related to the frog, students, but it is another example of cutaneous respiration or respiration through the skin. Now let us see another type of respiration, which is known as pulmonary respiration. So actually we have already learnt about this type of respiration. It is the respiration with the help of a special advanced organs called the lungs. So which all animals respire by this method? The birds, the different types of mammals like elephant, cow, human being, even a whale is a mammal, and also various reptiles like snakes, lizards, etc. They all have lungs and all of them undergo pulmonary respiration. Now I have a question for you. You know that a crocodile can spend time underwater. It can spend up to 2 hours, but it lives on the land, it lays the eggs on the land, it does the hunting in land as well as in water. So how does it respire? Does it have lungs or does it respire through the skin? What do you think? And what about this animal? What is it? It's a dolphin. Where does it live? It lives in water. Is it a fish? No, children. Dolphin is not a fish, but it is a mammal, and both these organisms, the crocodile as well as the dolphin, they have lungs for respiration, but the only difference is when they stay underwater, they don't breathe at all. They can hold their breath for up to 2 or 3 hours, and whenever the need for air arises, they come outside the water. Of course, the dolphin cannot come out completely, but it comes up to the surface and it blows out the carbon dioxide through a hole which is on the top of its head. So this information is not given anywhere in the textbook, but definitely there is a question related to it. So that was it, children. We have learnt about the different types of respiration. We have learnt various examples, and we came to know what are the different special systems or the organs that help in the respiration. So now it's time for you to do an analysis of this evolution of respiratory system in different animals. So you must now prepare a table as shown on the screen with the proper headings and fill in the columns and submit it to me as your worksheet. So thank you, children. Hello everyone. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you liked it, and if yes, do click your like on it and share this video with all your friends. You can also put your comments about it, and don't forget to subscribe our channel. For notifications, you must click the bell icon. Bye. See you in the next video.